Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC, a weekly podcast and YouTube channel discussing everything Wrexham from the point of view of long-term fans and brand new fans like my wife. So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in.
Hello and welcome to episode 41, a very exciting episode, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, you weirdo.
For anyone who's been living under a rock, on Saturday, Wrexham became champions of the Vanarama National League.
Woo!
A league that we've been stuck in for the last 15 years. So it was 15 years to the day.
Yes.
That we got relegated from League Two.
Yep.
I think a lot of clubs, when they go down from League Two, they sort of think, "Oh, it's all right. We've got enough of a squad about us to bounce back and come straight back up." It's taken us 15 years to get there, but we have finally done it. A lot's gone on in that 15 years. There's been a lot of pain. We were lucky not to get relegated from the National League once or twice. Certainly COVID saved us that year. It definitely saved us. We were on a massive slide and we were only on a few points above the relegation zone. But anyway, that is all in the past. We are champions of the National League.
Boo, boo, boo.
Points record, everything. The full kit and caboodle is we've got the lot.
We've as much as we want to talk about Boreham Wood and Rex, being champions. That game, we need to obviously talk about the Yeovil game first.
I think it makes it better that we talk about the whole week, the lead up to us being champions, rather than just there is a sort of. You do sort of want to skim over the Yeovil game a little bit so we can talk about
and the Torquay game.
We got that coming up as well. But we're going to talk the week through. Just so we can. It's a nice little build up to what everyone knows has already happened, which is really nice.
Well, we hope everyone knows. There's been enough news coverage about it, so
all around the world.
Exactly,
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Yeovil.
Yep.
On Tuesday night. It was it was a bit of a weird atmosphere, wasn't it? Because it was, there was noise, as there always is at the racecourse, but there was sort of that feeling of nerves around the place, definitely on Tuesday night, I think. Because if Yeovil lost, Yeovil were down on Tuesday night. They were getting relegated to the National League South. So there was that sort of anticipation. You can never trust a team that is on the brink of relegation. This time, for anybody who doesn't normally watch football, is new to football, the teams who are down the bottom of the league are down the bottom of the league for a reason, generally, because they're not very good and they lose a lot of games, as with most sports. Getting towards the end of a season, everything goes out the window. You can't trust anything. You'll get teams at the bottom beating teams at the top, and all sorts happen.
Yeah.
So there's that sort of weird energy about the place on Tuesday that it was like, well, they've got to win this game or they're relegated. And then so I think that's what made it more nervy.
And we have to win this game to make sure that we can...
Exactly. Yeah. So we can push on and make Saturday a party. So it's a really weird energy I found about Tuesday. So we had no Mendy. He was injured with his thigh thing, whatever was going on with that. McFadzean was obviously suspended.
Yeah.
So that's the whole of our left side of defence was gone. And so we brought Anthony Ford in.
We did.
It's his first game for, I don't know the date, but a couple of months, I think. He hasn't played for us, has he?
He's been on the bench, hasn't he?
He's been on the bench once or twice, but he's come back to start on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Dalby came in as well to play up front. And Parky was on the touchline as well.
He was, thank goodness.
There was a for anybody again who doesn't know, Phil Parkinson was shown a red card at the Barnet game. Now, basically when someone gets a red card, they basically get suspended. A manager gets a red card, he can't stand on the touchline of a game. He's suspended for one game, whatever. Depends why he's got the red card. But it doesn't quite work the same with managers. It's not like an instant suspension while you wait for your hearing. with managers, they have to organise a hearing and all that sort of stuff. So it was a case that he was allowed to be on the touchline.
Do you think they're just like, that's it now, you don't just forget about the red card?
I haven't heard anything about it, if I'm perfectly honest.
Some people were like, oh, will Parky be suspended today? And like, no, he was there. Was it you, actually?
No.
Somebody said it.
Me.
Oh, anyway, but he was there.
And
I'm glad he was.
We had an ex-player up against us as well. Do you remember Jamie Record?
I don't, but I hate him now. Not in a personal way, just in a football way.
Do you know what? I think he was possibly one of their best players on the night.
Oh, he was so annoying.
It's Jamie Record. And do you know what? I don't remember him ever putting that much effort in when he was playing for us.
He had a point to prove, didn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. And it's always a little bit dangerous. So he was a left-sided defender. Weirdly enough, we probably could have done with him on Tuesday night back. The thing I didn't like is that he got booed. Now, for me,
I was one of those people that booed.
But the thing for me about players, if players engineer a move away from the club, or they're like, I don't want to play for you anymore. And
is that what happened with him? Is it?
Hang on.
Oh.
And they're still in their contract, and they go, right, I want to go somewhere else. I'm not playing. All this sort of stuff. Yeah, that's fine. When you come back, boo him. That's fine. You didn't want to play for us. Why should we show you any respect? Although, I don't think that's what happened with Jamie Record. I think he just wasn't quite good enough in the sense of Parky brought other people in.
That were better.
Than him.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting game time, so he just got sold.
Yeah.
So I always find it a little bit mean, if I'm honest, booing a player that left not through his own choice. I think if he would have had a choice, I think he probably would have still been here. I think as a lot of players who've left.
It's about the bounce, isn't it?
It is. It just feels a bit off for me.
Well, I booed, but like I said, I booed him for football, not for him, a personal thing.
It was quite a cagey first half, though, wasn't it?
It was yeah.
Mullin had a couple of chances which he didn't really trouble the keeper. One, he ballooned way high. One, he had a shot and it just sort of rolled towards the keeper, and he didn't really have he didn't have much to do with it. Cannon whizzed one past the post. I thought
Cannon's been so good.
He's been amazing.
He has.
I was gutted for him that he hasn't scored.
I said that to the guy sitting next to me. I was like, I really want Cannon to score one.
Yeah.
And he was so close so many times, like over the past few weeks. And it's just like, oh God.
I know, yeah. So there was a couple of heart in mouth moments, I think, when they were attacking. Any other time during the season, you're playing Yeovil at home.
I don't care.
I don't think there's many nerves about the place. It's sort of like, well, we're good enough to beat these. But at this time in the season, with so much on the line in that one game, it did, as I said, there was a lot of nerves, really. O'Connor had a decent chance, didn't he? Long toes a throw, and he sort of blazed the header really high over as well. That was about one of the better chances that we had in the first half. But we had to wait an hour, a whole hour. And I think just before that, I think you're sort of getting to the point where you're going,
are we going to do it?
This isn't going to happen.
I know.
And even though we were attacking a lot, we were very much in control of the game. I was starting to think, literally, I think seconds before we scored, I was starting to think, is this actually going to happen? Are we going to end up dropping points here against these? What were you thinking before we scored?
I don't know.
Was that the thought?
No. I always have like the utmost confidence in our guys.
Yes.
Every single game I'm like, we're going to do this. And then if there's any negative Nancy's that talks to me and say, like Nige said that message in, I think we're going to bottle it. Just like, I did have faith in the guys that we could do it.
Yeah.
But it was, I'm not going to lie, I felt sick from the moment the first whistle went.
Yeah, until
they scored.
I feel like I get my memory wiped, I do, after every game, because every game, we know we're strong in the second half. We know we're fitter than pretty much everyone else that we play against. And we wear teams down. And I know that. And then when we, like a game at Yeovil, we score after 60 and then it just starts happening for us and we end up winning nice and comfortably. But then as soon as that final whistle goes, what I should think is, I should remember this next time because we're all right. We're going to get through. But it's like my memory gets wiped and then we go into another game and I'm just at the same sort of feelings and nerves and everything like
wait
that.
till we're in League Two.
But yeah, good goal. Ford.
Oh yeah, and do you know what? I'm so glad he got the first goal.
Yeah, I do. I think he's been through a lot recently.
He has, and as far as we know, he has. And I just think he needed that goal. We needed that goal, and he needed that goal.
I think he needed it, and it was a really nice outpouring of sort of emotion as he slid towards the crowd. It was just nice to see, really, wasn't it?
It was.
We didn't have to wait long after that, really, for the second one. That was JJ. So Barnett crossed it in. There was a little bit of pinball in the box. I think Mullin knocked it back. I think Lee had a little go, and then it fell to JJ. It just volleyed it in, really. And I think that was game over then at that point. It was...
Yeah.
Everyone sort of... It was like a collective sigh of relief when that second one went in. You don't ever want to be 1-0 up, just 1-0 up against a team that is trying to do what Yeovil were trying to do, to stay up and stay in the league. You don't ever just want to be 1-0 up. I sort of meandered through that. I didn't know where I was going with it, but Mullin wrapped it up with another one of his little looping headers.
That was a good goal.
Yeah, but he's done that before. He did that at Maidenhead.
I know, but yeah, I think it was like I remember because we watched it back.
Yeah.
Of the highlights, and the commentator said, "I'm not sure he was meant to do that," and then they went, "Yeah," and then the other commentator, "Yeah, he's done that before."
He's done it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just so it was just every goal that he scores just seems. I'm sure it's not, but it just seems so effortless from him.
Yeah, it is, but that's what all the best players do.
Yeah.
Is they make what they do look easy. If you look at, great players over the years, not just football. If you look at Tom Brady, for example, still playing when he was 40 and everything that he did looked easy, effortless.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much at the end. Maybe it looked like it was a bit of a struggle, but he always played in that effortless sort of way. And I think great sportsmen do that,
He is a bloody great sportsman.
I'm not sure I'm putting Mullin up alongside Tom Brady, but in our minds, maybe not in the world's minds, but certainly in ours.
I don't know now,
Yeah.
So here we go. Predictions.
Yeah, well, we struggled with predictions through the season, didn't we? No one was really getting them right. Last few weeks, I've been smashing them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely smashing them. So I went for 3-0.
You did.
In the Yeovil game, which was obviously correct. Evidence of that is on TikTok if you want to go and root that out. Not only did I say 3-0, before the game, I said 0-0 half-time, 3-0 full-time. Just to throw that one out there as well. It was like...
Is that recorded, that comment?
It's not recorded,
so
but
it didn't happen.
I have witnesses to that.
No, it didn't happen.
I got that right as well. It's almost as if I'm from the future. Maybe I am. And I just can't remember because my mind keeps getting wiped. Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not a very good time traveller if you, or psychic, as whatever. Because you don't,
Time travelling psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know. Yeah, whatever.
I expected more from Yeovil because they didn't really show anything. What were you expecting from them? Because I know what I was expecting. It wasn't what I saw.
I was expecting a top of the league, bottomish league, bottom of the league sort of game. If you know what I mean by that.
I think so.
But because of obviously the threat of relegation, I thought that they wouldn't just come and just roll over and let us beat them. I thought they would get at least one goal.
I agree, but I feel like they did just roll over. I think the game plan...
Well, you asked me what I thought.
Oh, right. You thought they wouldn't roll over.
They wouldn't roll over, but they clearly did.
Well, I just found it a little bit odd. I thought their game plan probably worked out perfectly for them in the first half. keep it tight, keep her at 0-0 till half time, and then
push,
go for it. And they didn't. which I found odd, because they had to win. A draw wasn't enough. They had to win. And then when they went 1-0 down, in my mind, they're going, right,
we got to come back
here.
here.
They're losing. Even if they score one, they're still going down. So for me, I was thinking, oh, God, here we go. They're going to chuck 4 up front now.
It's going to be another Dover game.
And they're just going to start lobbing balls up, and then they're going to barrage. But they didn't.
No.
They kept the same shape.
They sort of gave up.
They did nothing, and they literally just went, we're down. And I found that, I was so grateful that that's how it played out.
Do you know what? You'll get, and I'm surprised it hasn't, obviously the game was on Tuesday last week, but I think, I'm surprised that Notts County fans haven't come out, or a Notts County fan in particular.
Yeah.
We bought Yeovil. We gave them a little brown envelope and made and
they're hiding under a rock now, aren't they? That's the thing.
I think there has been a Notts County fan saying that he knows he's given us loads of crap over the season, but he's really glad that we won.
Oh, well done. So JJ was man of the match because he was excellent Tuesday. We had Luke Griffiths getting in touch saying he feels like he covered every inch of grass, and it was a great goal.
Luke feels like he covered every inch of grass, or he
not Luke.
JJ did.
Yeah.
So we've had this week, obviously, because of this, because we won on Tuesday. The Boreham Wood game was
it was just massive.
It was, so there's been a lot of media attention around the town this week.
Yes.
The BBC
been to our house.
Little Mike Bushell, I shouldn't say that. Mike Bushell has been round to our house.
Yes. Mike Bushell, who works on BBC Breakfast. He's a presenter on there. He does all the sports stuff.
Such a nice guy.
Lovely guy. He got in touch with us, and he asked if he could come to our house, which he did. Which was lovely.
Which was weird. And he took his shoes off as well, which I thought was very, very good.
Very polite of him.
It was.
So we did a little bit of filming with him. That was on BBC Breakfast on Friday.
Friday morning. Anyone who wants to watch that, by the way, the video of us appearing on BBC Breakfast, only a little piece. It was like a 5-6 minute piece about Wrexham, which we have put on. We've put all that.
It's on. That's the full clip is on our YouTube channel. If you want to check that out, head over there. Just another quick one. We are on BBC Radio Wales on Monday morning as well. Check our social media for that one, because we will, after we've done it, it should be at some point from 7 o'clock onwards, we'll be on BBC Radio Wales on Monday. We're not 100% sure what time, but once it's been on, as we did with the BBC Radio 5 live interview that we did, we will post a video and stuff of that, so you can listen to that. Anyway, Boreham Wood. Oh, God, I just don't know where to start. Well, I do know where to start, actually. So, I just wanted a quick mention about the 50-50 draw. So for anybody who isn't aware of what the 50-50 draw is, it's been a Wrexham institution for years and years and years. You go to the game, there's volunteers who sell tickets for £1.
It's like a raffle, isn't it?
But, sort of. It's got a little number in the corner. And what they do is, it's called 50-50. 50% of the money goes to the club. The other 50% is a cash prize for one winner, whatever number they pick out. They also have prizes from local businesses as well. Bowling, meals, all that sort of stuff from local sort of area businesses.
But everybody wants to win the money.
Everyone wants the money. And it's been going for over 30 years, and it's coming to an end. So firstly,
it did come to an end on Saturday.
Yes, yeah. So from us, thank you to all the volunteers over the years and years and years who have put the effort in to actually make the 50-50 draw work. I've obviously been going to games since the late 80s. My dad used to buy tickets all the time. I bought loads of tickets. I've never won a sausage. Never, ever won a sausage. And before the game, I said to Sian, how cool would it be to win the last ever 50-50 draw, which was at the Boreham Wood game? You could frame the ticket and go, I won the last ever 50-50 draw. As it turned out, I bloody did, didn't I?
We did.
Whatever. I bought a ticket and I won it. So I won 850 quid.
You bought a ticket with our money.
850 smackers in my back pocket. And I can always say, for the rest of my life, I was the last ever winner of the 50.
We had a few nice
draw.
comments, actually, because we did put it on social media. We had some nice comments. I think one of them was from Julie Birrell. She said it couldn't happen to a nicer people, and so did Andy Jarvis.
Nicer person.
People. I am having half of it. We haven't budgeted for it, so it's like it never existed. Anyway,
the
Boreham Wood game. Let's get cracking on. So oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Go on then. Go on then.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you're not even ready. So the atmosphere, atmosphere before the game.
He's added notes since he sent me the PowerPoint.
There was lots of singing and chanting, wasn't there?
There was.
Game. Even in the concourse, down by the food and drink area, people were singing. It felt like a party before a ball had even been kicked, didn't it? So even at the warm-up, so when we went out, we had a couple of drinks, we had some food, we went out. And the noise, the level of noise was huge. Before we'd even started, that the
energy was just.
I think it was an expectation, wasn't it? And I think it was an excitement, an expectation that, I mean, I was just sort of hoping that it wasn't going to be a bit of a massive anticlimax. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew how difficult Boreham Wood were going to be to play against.
And they were.
Technically, the best defence in the league. They've conceded, I think, the least amount of goals this season, possibly. Didn't fact check that, but
we haven't conceded that many though.
No, we haven't. I think they've conceded less than us, But anyway, Luke Garrard sets his team up so well and so organised, and it was one of them horrible feelings where you go, oh, this is really good and really exciting, and the atmosphere's here and the noise levels are there. But imagine we drew, or imagine do you know what I mean? It was like,
but we didn't.
We didn't.
And do you know what, mate? Do you know what was amazing? Before the game had started, the song that Ryan Reynolds did for Rob McElhenney
it again.
He played it and he sung it to him, and we were all singing it, and it was oh my god, it was one of those moments that you're just so glad that you're there.
Yeah.
It was just so bizarre. It was we've been there before with Rob and Ryan, it's still surreal.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, it's sort of being normalized a little bit more now. But when they're like, I can't even put into words how.
Yeah, you're definitely rambling.
I don't know. It's just, it was a very emotional day.
It was.
Evening. Well, day, actually.
Day, yeah.
The whole build-up of it.
What do you think about late games? Because obviously it was a 6:30 kickoff. And obviously it's Saturdays, they're about 3:00, aren't they? And that's what it's about.
Unless it's earlier for TV, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's about 3:00. That's what, everyone's grown up with 3:00 on a Saturday.
Yeah,
that's your games. What's your thoughts on a late game like that?
On a Saturday?
Yeah.
Or just in late
games? No,
not
the Tuesday games. We're used to them now. I mean, what are your feelings on a late game on a Saturday?
There's longer to think about it, and also obviously the Notts County game was before that.
Yeah.
So it was like that was kind of a bit of a downer, but I just think it's the fact that it's just a lot longer to
drink.
No, because I don't drink, but I just think it's because at 3:00 you get up, you have some lunch, or no, not even have lunch. We literally go there for 1:30.
Yeah.
So you haven't really got much time to think about it because you're chatting about other stuff, speaking to other people. But we got there at 5:00 yesterday.
Yeah.
On Saturday, sorry, and it was like, it's like ages away.
I know it. Yeah, it was strange, wasn't it? Because you've sort of got a full day to think about what's going on.
On Friday night.
No.
I don't think do you know what? In all truthness, I don't think... Is that a word?
That's not a word, no. Truthfulness.
In all honesty, then.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I didn't sleep properly since the Yeovil game on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think... And I never thought that would be something that would happen to me.
Yeah, that is odd.
It is odd. I mean,
Well, it's not odd now, but if you'd have told me that 3 years ago, I'd have gone, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, she loves her sleep.
Yeah. So Mendy was back in.
Yes.
Which I think was a big plus.
It was nice to see Hayden training as well, like warming up. I know. Yeah.
I don't think, Parky'd said about Hayden that he could well feature again.
Maybe on Saturday. Next Saturday, the Torquay game, 'cause it's a nothing game now.
Yeah, maybe. But he doesn't need to, does he? He doesn't need to push that return. If he wants to leave him out, he doesn't need to. Yeah. But with Mendy back, I think it was a big plus. Not that Anthony Ford played badly. No. He played very well.
Well, he scored
on Tuesday night.
Oh, Tuesday.
Although, just a point about that, I do feel that maybe Parky played them on the wrong side. I think Barnett could have easily played on the left, and the way that he likes to dribble and run, I think
Barnett.
Yes, Barnett could have played on the left, and I think the way that he dribbles, and he would have cut inside nice and easily. Fordy's obviously plays on the right, and I think normally, and I think he would have been more suited to staying on the right. What tended to happen was Fordy was going down the left, and when he was getting down towards the byline, he didn't really know what to do, and he was sort of turning and coming back because he's so used to being on the right, and it would have been second nature to just whip that ball in or cut inside or whatever. I just think Barnett might have been a little bit more suited in that game to playing on the left and maybe Fordy on the right, but it's by the by. It is what it is. So yeah, what was the original point?
Mendy's back. Yeah, we talked about Mendy. We ended up on Ford.
Yes. So no, it was a big plus having him back. I thought it was great to have him back in the team. We knew it wasn't a serious injury, and I think he was an important player to have back.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. He's just been the past few weeks. He's been amazing. Just like Cannon, he's like proper.
Yeah.
It's like. I'm not saying he was rubbish before, because he wasn't.
No.
He just had some off days, like everybody does.
Yeah.
But he, it's like a switch was flicked. A switch was flicked.
Switched. Switch was switched.
A flick was switched.
Flick.
A switch flick. Anyway, something was flicked in his head.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, it's like he was a different person on the pitch.
Do you think that the bad?
I don't think very often.
The bad game at Halifax.
Yeah.
Made him better for the games after that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because, like, Mendy had a chat with, because Parky mentioned that he'd had a chat with him, and he'd like, I've got every faith in you, and da-da-da-da.
Which I thought that's what he would do.
Yeah. Well, that's what any good manager would do. I think Parky would have been a bad manager if he'd done the other option that you mentioned in the podcast the other week, dropping him and bringing somebody out and putting McFadzean back in.
No, it's an awkward one, isn't it? Because sometimes that's what it needs. But I don't really see that Parky being that sort of manager.
No.
I thought that's what he'd do. He'd talk to him and he'd sort of go, look, we know you're good enough.
Pull it out of the bag, lad.
Go and show us that you're good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're really going to balance your drink there, are you? That's what you're going to do. In the middle of a podcast, you're going to balance your drink in a really weird, awkward position.
It's all right.
Okay, should we carry on then?
So, let's talk about...
No, let's not. What I wanted to ask you... well, before we get into the game...
I thought we were already in the game, to be fair.
How do you feel?
Oh, I hated it. I know what you're going to ask me.
No, you don't know.
I do.
When they do the coin toss,
yes,
and we obviously we like kicking towards our own fans in the second half.
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Okay, how does it make you feel when they win the toss and they make a switch so that we're kicking towards our own fans in the first half?
I didn't like it.
No,
Alfie was like saying to us, "Why are they booing, Mum?" And I was like, "Because, Alfie, we don't like to be shooting away from fans." In the second half. But usually it wouldn't have been an issue because obviously we had the cop end. So when the new cop's built, it's not going to be so much of an issue. But it's
not, is it? Because we're going to be kicking towards our own fans. You could play sideways and be kicking towards our own fans. It is, we're covering everything.
Yeah. But yeah, I was trying to explain to Alfie that during the second half, it's nice to be shooting towards your fans, because what's it that you say? We suck it in.
They suck it in.
They suck it in.
Yeah,
they suck the ball in.
Yeah, they do. So, do you think it was a good start to the game?
Weirdly, no.
No.
It was I think it's the quickest goal I've ever seen.
43 seconds. It probably is, to be fair, that you've seen anyway,
it was
live.
It was a bit, it was like, oh, crap.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was just one of that. It was a little bit of a sort of like a nothing ball, and then it sort of fell to one of them. He played it forward. I think Tozer went to sleep a little bit because Unlove sort of run round and past him. Tozer let him go.
Yeah.
Sort of got drawn to the ball a little bit, maybe a lack of concentration first minute, and then as the ball's come through, O'Connell's gone for it, missed it. Foster's quite far out of his goal.
Yeah.
Maybe not too far. You've got, a keeper.
He was never getting that.
A keeper is always there to close the angles.
Yeah.
So, he closed the angles down. He closed the angles down. He couldn't go to his left. He couldn't go to his right. In all fairness to the guy, it was a brilliant finish.
As soon as that goal went in, though, everyone was a bit like, for a few seconds, it was like, oh, God. But literally after like 2 seconds of that ball going in, the crowd were like, noise again.
Yeah.
It wasn't we didn't give up in regards to like shouting and, chanting, and it was just.
No, it was good to see the atmosphere stayed. It stayed.
Yeah.
It didn't, because in somewhere like the racecourse, teams will come, they'll hear the noise, they'll hear the atmosphere. And I dare say the manager will say to his players, let's go out there and let's shut the crowd up. Let's score early and shut the crowd up.
They did for a few seconds.
Because that's what you want.
Yeah.
And that is where it's important to not be quiet.
Yeah.
Because, that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They want to score early and they want to shut you up. So that's the point where you go, no. We're not shutting up. We're going to keep that same level of intensity.
I think we literally, I mean, obviously there wasn't that many Boreham Wood fans, but when they scored, I think we were louder than them. Not when we scored, but I mean when Boreham Wood scored, and we obviously carried on the chat. I think,
definitely, 100%.
I mean, it's hard not to with 10,000 fans, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I think, to be fair, the lads didn't let it affect them, did they?
No.
They carried on playing the same. They carried on playing their game. It didn't affect them. We started to push forward. We wanted a nice, quick response. And I think it was important to get a quick response. And apart from going down the other end and scoring straight away, I think 15 minutes in, that's a pretty decent response. You could tell it was coming.
Yeah.
It was great work down the right from Barnett.
Yeah.
Good cross. And the smallest man on the pitch scored a header.
Boom.
Which I always find.
The guy that was in front of him, I don't know who it was, what player it was. Obviously it was a Boreham Wood player, but he was very tall.
Yes.
He was very tall. Compared to Elliot Lee, he was tall. And for him to get that ball was amazing.
I think that's what Lee does really well, though. He finds space.
Yeah, he does.
The guy who's supposed to be picking him up, I don't think is an actual defender. I think he'd moved back to play. He was sort of in there, and I think a defender maybe might have tracked Lee a little bit better. But it was poor. To be honest, it was poor defending. It was very good from Lee to find the space. It was a very good cross. Although, if you have a 6-foot defender doing his job properly and tracking the runner, it's never going in, is it? So I think, although it's excellent from Barnett to create the space.
Barnett?
Yes, Barnett.
Why are you talking about Barnett? We're talking about Boreham Wood.
Barnett. Ryan Barnett.
Oh, Barnett.
Excellent work from Barnett down the right. Excellent crossing. And, excellent from Lee to create the space. Although, I think that was one that Boreham Wood might look back at and go, maybe we should have done a little bit better.
Can we call Ryan Barnett Barney? Because
We can call him Barney if you want.
I mean, you know,
I mean, he has been here for a while now, and we have spoke quite a bit about him.
But because we've not long played Barnett, I keep thinking you talk about Barnett.
Anyway,
it
was another good assist from Barney.
Yeah.
And what do you think of him?
I love him.
Yeah.
Obviously, in a non-loving way.
Yeah.
Football way. I don't know. No, I do. I think he's a good player, and yeah, definitely. I've said it before. Definitely a good signing.
I think he's as it's turned out. Didn't know much about him. I remember him playing in the playoffs for Solihull last season. I remember him being good, but I didn't really know that much about him when we signed him. I think he's been one of our best players since he signed. Yep. If I'm honest, I think he has made the odd defensive mistake, perhaps now and again. Although going forward,
even like some Mullen makes mistakes.
Yeah, although going forward, I think he is excellent, and he has definitely been one of our best players since he signed for us in January. Was it January? Was it in the window? Can't remember. Or
Can't even remember.
Since he signed, I think he's been superb.
He has,
and it's a big shout out to him. I think because I was when we brought him in, I was sort of like, do we need him? Been excellent. So good. To
be honest, I think all of our players, and Tozer, I think he goes under the radar a little bit. Yeah, people go on about his long throws and stuff like that, but that's not just what he's about. He can throw, but he can also
he'll want to play next week as well, because he's the only player in our squad who's played every minute of the season. Every single minute he has played this season. He's the only player to do that. He is not He's not going to want to sit out next Saturday because it's a nothing game. He's going to want to be there, and he's going to want to turn around and say, look, this is the season that we got 113 points.
And I played in every game.
And I played in every single minute of every single game. And that's what he will want from that 100%. Where were we? We were still in the first half, weren't we? God, we better speed this up a little bit. We're pretty much on top, I would say. I think 1-1, maybe fair for the first half. Maybe. I think we definitely had the better chances, and but I would have taken a draw. I said before the game again, I would have taken a 0-0 at half time any day of the week. So if I was going to take 0-0 at half time, I was more than happy with 1-1 at half time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then we would have had to go.
Well, the ideal scenario was a quick second half goal, and Mullin scored 7 minutes in to the second half. Couldn't have been any better, really. It was a bit of a nothing ball, not a nothing ball, but it was just a channel ball down the channel. And then he really, from where he picked the ball up, there's not enough superlatives really, because from where he...
Excuse me?
Superlatives.
Where do
you can look that one up if you need to, but superlatives to describe what he did, because from where he picked the ball up, he had no right to get a shot away. Absolutely no right to get a shot away. The work he did to get it from the touchline around, and the shot was, everything about it was superb. Absolutely superb. It was. I can't say enough nice things about that goal, because it was brilliant. And then he scored again. More superlatives to describe. There aren't enough. And, because he literally levered a defender out of the way, a guy that was much bigger than him. He went one-on-one with possibly Boreham Wood's worst defender, in my opinion, not to be horrible. And he pulled him one way. The defender, as a defender, what you will do is you will always try, if you're sort of one-on-one with a player, you will always try and show them one way.
Yeah.
So you want them to go left or right, and you have to decide which way you want them to go. So as a defender, you will try and usher them. You will show them a little bit more space on one side than the other to try and push them that way, which is what the defender did. He pushed Mullin that way, which was basically onto his left foot, because he thought, got a better chance of him not scoring on his left than I have on his right.
Yeah.
So he sort of showed him down that way, and Mullin just absolutely tonked it in again. Another great goal. Not as good as the first one he scored.
Tonked it in.
Tonked it.
Tonked it.
Absolutely. And I think that at that point, it was a case of job done. Absolutely job done. And I think it felt a bit more like a party atmosphere then at that point, when everyone was, the relief was there, and it was like, we've finally done it. And we you know, although I did have that feeling towards the end of the game of, I don't want them to get another one, not Wrexham, at Boreham Wood, with enough time for them
to get another one.
So there was still that in the back of my mind, but that's just my personality, and that's just the way I watch games. I think I've watched football for so many years now, and I've seen so many ridiculous things. People coming back from 3-0 down and winning 4-3, and the Dover game, and you know, all thing I've seen so many times, not just with Wrexham, just in football in general. And then you always think it could happen. Things can happen. Do you know what I mean? So the Man United game the other night, when they were at home to Seville, they were 2-0 up. They were coasting, and they scored 2 own goals in the last few minutes, and the game ended up 2-0. Football's crazy sometimes, and that's what I'm always worried about.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. So.
Do now, obviously, because obviously we've, at the beginning of the season, it was like the Dover game is the best game.
Yeah.
And then we played Notts County, and it was like, no, that tops the Dover game.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, Boreham Wood, I think it just knocks both of those games out of the park.
No, I disagree. So,
what?
I think it's a very different thing. And I think when the dust settles, I think you will maybe think about it differently. So the emotion that game sort of evoked, was massive, and that we won the league. But when you look back at that, you will look at them as two separate things. You will look at them as the game, and you will look at it as the celebrations after the game. So the celebrations after the game, obviously amazing and brilliant. The game itself, it's all right, wasn't it? But it wasn't a fantastic, amazing game. But that's how your brain will treat them. They will treat the celebration bit, and they will treat the game bit. The game bit you will probably
forget.
Not completely forget, but you won't really, they'll be two separate things, I think. Whereas the Dover game, the Coventry game, whatever, the Notts County game, they're standalone events which will last longer in the memory, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Just made that up on the spot. So how did you feel? Final whistle.
The final whistle, I remember, because Alfie was sitting next to me, and then it was my brother.
Yeah, we kept moving, didn't we?
Yeah, and then
I didn't move because I sit in my seat all the time.
And then, no, we were all in the same seats, like when the first whistle went.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually when we score, it's me and you that hug.
Yeah.
But there was Alfie, and he was just like, I think he was a bit overwhelmed by it all.
Yes.
So I turned to my left. And
hugged a random man.
He's not a random man because he's been there.
Been there all season. Yeah.
So him and his daughter, I gave them both a hug, and it was just. And I'm not that type of person that would hug a stranger.
Yeah.
But the emotion and everything took over.
Yeah.
I hugged my brother. I got makeup all over his jacket, which I don't think he's very happy about.
That was you got it. You did that a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, he shouldn't have hugged me then, should he? I'm sorry, I wear makeup, I just,
Yeah.
But yeah, the final whistle, it was just total elation. It was like...
it was weird, I think. It was like you say, total elation and relief. And it was just everything. And one thing that happened during the day is...
Shall I say what I said to you?
Well, if you want, yeah.
So basically, obviously, the things come out about pitch invasions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I said to Ryan, and my brother actually, I said, under no circumstances are you to run on that pitch. No circumstances whatsoever. I don't care how excited you are. You do not run on that pitch.
She basically, she didn't say this once. She said this numerous times. She said, do not look me in the eye. Do not run on the pitch. And I went, now I know what happens at football, especially when people win the league. And I just nodded. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, whatever you say. But she said it again and again. I'm warning you, do not go on that pitch. Do not go on that pitch when if we win it. I don't want to see you on that pitch. Over and over. Now, I did a little video of the final whistle. I was holding my phone out. And you can clearly hear on that video, and we watch everyone running on the pitch. About 10 seconds in, you can hear Sian screaming at me, get on that pitch! And I'm like, so I've had a full day of earache about not running on the pitch. And then she's there going, what are you doing? Get on that pitch!
But it was so good. It was so bizarre. Because I've always wanted to go on the pitch just to have a look and see what it's like.
Yeah.
But, like, turning round and seeing, like, Rob and Ryan and
How did you feel being on the pitch?
I felt really naughty. I said to Alfie, I said, we've committed our first crime. We've invaded the pitch. And I thought, and I kept saying, right, because everybody was like, when they were still playing, people were kind of getting ready you knew they were going to do it.
Yeah.
All the police were
I knew they were going to do it all day long. So.
And with all the will in the world, the stewards, the police and everything.
Wives saying don't do it.
Yeah. You were not going to stop people. It's been 15 years in the making, of us going up to, League Two again. And, I just think, it was, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm just like, it was just so amazing. And my friend Kelly messaged me and she goes, Sian, she says, I hope you are on that pitch. And I went, I am absolutely on this pitch. And I sent the video to her.
Sian's in quite a lot of pain today. So for anybody who doesn't know, Sian's waiting for a hip replacement. She had hip dysplasia when she was younger, and you need a hip replacement.
I do need a hip replacement.
Quite,
at 40, hip replacement.
Quite young to need a hip replacement, but she does.
Yeah.
And then every now and again she does stupid things, and then she can't walk the next day. If you head over to our social media, you'll see the video that I filmed. So you'll hear Sian going, get on that pitch, in the background. You'll then see us going on the pitch. I scan round and you see Sian jumping and dancing around. It's safe to say she can't walk today. Almost had to carry her down the stairs this morning just so she could have breakfast. Ridiculous behaviour from a 40-year-old woman, but it was exciting.
I wasn't even drunk.
No,
I wasn't even drunk.
It was that moment where you go, I'm on the pitch. Do you know the last time I was on the pitch?
You were playing on the pitch.
I was playing on the pitch.
Playing on the pitch.
That is the last time I was on the pitch, was when I was playing on it. And it was strange to be on it again, because I remember playing on that pitch. Like, really, really remember it. And to be there again, I was looking, going, pass the ball there,
How did you feel, being a dad yourself?
Yeah.
And you had your son there, and your dad had his son there, and
that was a nice thing, because our son Alfie, he's not massively into football. Mm-hmm. He'd be the first to admit that. He has a season ticket.
Although he's a City supporter as well.
So he's sort of, he's not hugely into it. He does enjoy the games sometimes.
Yeah.
He does come to some of them. Whenever he can't come, what we do is we exchange his season ticket for a ticket to make sure that somebody can come when he can't, when he doesn't want to come.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that the seats are filled. But it was nice to have him there on that day to look back at that. But then it's like 3 generations, wasn't it? Which was really nice.
Well, my brother was there, my dad was there.
Yeah.
And, obviously it was nice to be, and it was, and you could see the happiness in your dad's eyes as well. Cause obviously your dad's been going for yonks.
Yeah, yes.
So, a lot longer than you have.
Yeah.
And my dad as well. My dad's, went for years. I mean, my dad's not a massive football fan, but it was nice to have him there
Yeah.
and, you know, and celebrate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
it was
great.
very emotional.
Because the lifting the trophy took
Yeah.
bloody ages because
everyone
was on the pitch.
My dad was like, "Oh, I wish they'd get off the pitch." And I was like, "Dad, they're just so excited."
And then we had to clear the pitch. Then we had the trophy, which is great. Town was, after was bouncing.
Oh, it was so good walking
that.
Yeah,
Absolutely bouncing, and it was amazing. We had a few stories the day after. One funny story was Ollie Palmer.
there is a video.
Is there a video?
There is a video online. I'm not sure who's put it on.
You're gonna have to look yourselves for this. There's a video online of Ollie Palmer sitting in the back of a car.
In a boot.
In the boot of a
car.
In
the boot of a
car. Driving into town.
1 o'clock in the morning.
At 1 o'clock in the morning singing.
Singing Wrexham, Wrexham. Yeah.
So
I think he had a bit too much champagne.
Maybe. But, we've seen the clips of in the dressing room. Parky looked quite emotional.
Oh my God. I was so happy for Parky.
Yeah.
Honestly, when he was, I don't know. Just.
And he's done a lot of good things in his career, Parky.
Yeah, for all you out there who said, get rid of Parky, shame on you. He's
done some
amazing.
big things. He managed the team that won at Stamford Bridge, where it beat Chelsea in the FA Cup there. He's won I think this is probably the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
For him personally, I mean, not us looking from the outside in, I think it's probably the best thing he's ever done, and I'm sure he would admit that, because it was a risk. He had a career in league football, and to drop down to this level could have ended his career. Let's be honest. It really could have ended his career. As it turns out, it hasn't.
He's all right. He's going to take us to League One as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah. Make it quick because we haven't got much time.
I think I said it to Mike Bushell actually. I said that I'm glad we didn't go up last season because I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Season reason. And I truly believe that I'm glad we didn't go up last season because I don't think it would have been as sweet.
We were on. So just a little shout out for another YouTube channel. There's another YouTube channel called Views from the Yale.
Oh no, that's who I said it to.
Yeah, Views from the Yale, who we were on the other day. So you can have a little look online for that. It's a really good little podcast. We had a chat.
Lovely guy.
With Peter
Davis.
Peter on the other day.
Yeah.
That video's online, and what we talked about is: are we glad that we didn't go up last season because we've got to experience this season? And I'm still not sure about that. I am really glad we've got to experience what we've experienced this year. At the same time, though, if we had gone up through the playoffs last year,
we could be going to League One now. Could
we, based on how well we've played, be now challenging for a League Two title and be looking at going up to League One? I don't know. I'm just grateful that we've got to witness this season. Yeah. And I think that being champions and going up the way that we have this season puts us in much better stead for next season than it would have if we'd have gone up through the playoffs last year. Getting up through the playoffs is one thing. Look at Grimsby mid-table. You maybe don't get that same bounce into League Two that you do than if you win the league. And to win the league with a record number of points. Yeah. A record number of points as well. That I think that really makes us push on.
I'm so glad we did it.
Just a couple of things. We're playing Torquay on Saturday. It's our 5 kickoff. Torquay are all but relegated. They need a miracle.
Respect to travelling fans.
What do you do in this? Yeah. Well, what I was thinking was, what do you do in this game? Who plays? But
I think that just
play your normal team. I think because the thing is, you've got to respect the fans who've paid money to travel down there.
You've got to respect the team. You've got to respect.
Can't just put the reserves out.
No, and you've got to respect the Torquay players as well.
Anyway, I'm not even going to talk
who cares?
about Torquay because it's done and dusted.
So we've had some people getting in touch. It says writing to you from Milwaukee, Mark. Oh, sorry. I didn't read that right. So Mark from Milwaukee. Wisconsin. Love your podcast via YouTube. Joined your podcast halfway into the season, but during the couple of weeks when there was no Tuesday match, I started binge watching all your podcasts. Very interesting. I love them all. The reviews, score, predictions, and quiz time. I was waiting till promotion to introduce an idea for your podcast. We will talk about, we haven't got much time, so we'll talk about your ideas on another.
Yes, so thank you very much for getting in touch, Mark. We will reply to your message and we will talk about that on a future episode. Other people, Nathan Lewis said, such an amazing game. Can't believe it actually happened. Wow, such an emotional day.
Absolutely.
Leslie Keys, congratulations, well-deserved promotion. Feeling very excited from Wrexham from South Wales.
Zeggy Crockle.
Yeah.
Hope the next episode is 3 hours long. Want to hear everything about the atmosphere at the racecourse and in town. Well, it's not going to be 3 hours long, but we hope you enjoyed it anyway. Yeah. Mr. C, and as that final whistle went, 15 years of hurt and swear word disappeared, never to be repeated by scum asset strippers. 15 years of new great memories and moments at last.
Definitely. Luke Price, you two look young, yet look middle-aged. I'm confused.
I'm confused because I don't really understand what that means.
I don't know what you mean, Luke. Yeah, thank you. James Ligon?
Ligon
said 3-1 it was. That was about my prediction.
Oh, whatever. Hot Wheels, Lego and Collectibles. Congratulations. Shout out from New Zealand.
Thank you. Anyone wants to get in touch, you can do on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And email us at me-the-wife-from-WrexhamAFC@gmail.com. Just got to 1,000 followers on TikTok as well.
And we're about 12 off on
By the time
Twitter.
This goes out, we may well be at
and we've got so many more subscribers as well, but please, we need you to subscribe, do that,
we do.
Yes.
Quick quiz. Very quick quiz.
Quick quiz.
I did a quiz this week about our talismanic frontman, Paul Mullin. I thought it was very fitting. He was man of the match against Boreham Wood. He scored 2 goals. I thought it was very fitting that I did a little quiz about it.
Said to you, didn't I? I said it's amazing that Paul Mullin scored the goal that got us.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So, question 1. Mullin scored a brace on Saturday. You know what a brace is?
No, I don't.
A brace is 2 goals.
Right.
Okay, 2 goals. It was his 8th brace of the season. Name one of the team he scored a brace against.
Yeovil.
Do you know, no, that's incorrect. But I didn't write the answers down on this. I have got for all the other ones, just not for that one. Anyway, Yeovil wasn't on there.
Oh.
Okay, so we'll move on. Number 2, where did we sign Paul Mullin from?
Cambridge.
Well done, 1 point. Number 3, which is the odd team out in Paul Mullin's career, i.e. that he didn't play for? Morecambe, Swindon, Crawley or Tranmere?
Tranmere.
Incorrect. He played for
Crawley.
Morecambe. It is Crawley. Unlucky. Question 4 is 2 truths, 1 lie.
Okay.
Pick out the lie, basically.
Okay.
He played for both Everton and Liverpool academies as a child. The second one, he has played in every league game this season. Or number 3, he went to the same school as both Steven Gerrard and Trent Alexander-Arnold. One of them is a lie.
The second one, because he hasn't played in every single game of the season. A league, even.
No, you're going for that one? That's incorrect. He has.
Has he?
Yes.
It's the Everton-Liverpool one, isn't it?
It's not. No, he did play. So he didn't go to the same school as Steven Gerrard and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Last question. Mullin has scored 4 hat-tricks this season. Name one of the teams he scored a hat-trick against. Oh, you're running out of time.
Notts County.
Incorrect. When did he score a hat-trick against Notts?
I don't know.
So he scored a hat-trick against Farnborough when we won 4-1 in the FA Cup. Maidstone when we beat them 5-0 at home. Oldham when we beat them 5-1 at home. And Solihull Moors when we beat them 5-0.
I'm so over these quizzes. So over them.
Thank you very much for listening again this week.
We will be back next week, even though, it's a whatever game. But we will be back, and we will, we're not going anywhere.
No.
We're going to be here.
For good.
For good.
See you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.